He was only 19 years old, standing just 5 feet 5 inches tall. But on a frigid day in January 1945, this young soldier climbed onto a burning tank destroyer, grabbed its machine gun, and single-handedly fought off an entire company of German soldiers for over an hour. This is the story of Audie Murphy, a name synonymous with American heroism, a man who went from being a humble Texas farm boy to the most decorated soldier of World War II. Audie Leon Murphy was born into a life of hardship in 1925, the 7th of 12 children to poor sharecroppers in Hunt County, Texas. His childhood was marked by poverty. He dropped out of school in the 5th grade to pick cotton and hunt small game to help feed his family. His father abandoned them, and a few years later, his mother passed away when he was just 16. To keep his younger siblings from being split up and sent to orphanages, Audie took on whatever odd jobs he could find. Life had already dealt him a tough hand, but it was forging a resiliency that would define his future. When the attack on Pearl Harbor happened, a fire was lit inside the young Audie. He wanted to fight for his country. However, his path to service was anything but easy. When he tried to enlist, the Marines, the Navy, and even the Army paratroopers all turned him down. They said he was too small, too underweight, and too young. At 5'5" and barely 100 pounds, he hardly looked the part of a soldier. But Audie refused to take no for an answer. His sister helped him falsify his birth certificate to make him appear old enough, and in June 1942, the Army finally accepted him as a private in the infantry. They initially tried to make him a cook, but Audie insisted on seeing combat. He wanted to be on the front lines, and soon he got his wish. Shipped off to North Africa and then into the European theater, Audie Murphy quickly proved that courage isn't measured in height or weight. He participated in some of the most brutal campaigns of the war, including the invasions of Sicily and Italy. In Sicily, his sharpshooting skills were immediately apparent when he killed 2 fleeing Italian officers. At the Volturno River in Italy, he and his men fought their way out of a German ambush, and during the Anzio beachhead landing, he contracted malaria, a disease that would plague him for the rest of his life. Despite his illness, he always returned to the front. His leadership and bravery saw him rise through the ranks from a private to a staff sergeant. He earned the Bronze Star and the Distinguished Service Cross for his actions, but his most legendary moment was yet to come. In August 1944, Audie's unit landed in southern France. It was here that his best friend, Laddie Tipton, was killed by a German soldier pretending to surrender. Enraged, Audie single-handedly charged the German machine gun nest, using their own weapon to wipe out the entire position. This act of valor earned him the Distinguished Service Cross, the Army's second highest award. But Audie was just getting started. Over the next few months, he was wounded twice more, earning 2 Purple Hearts. Each time, he refused to be evacuated, choosing to stay with his men. By January 1945, he had received a battlefield commission to second lieutenant and was commanding his company. And that brings us to January 26, 1945, near the village of Holtzwehr in eastern France. Murphy's unit, Company B, was down to just 19 effective men out of an original 128. They faced a massive German counterattack, 6 Panzer tanks, and an estimated 250 infantrymen advancing across an open, snow-covered field. The situation was dire. American tank destroyers were hit and one burst into flames. The order was given to fall back, but Audie Murphy didn't retreat. Instead, he ordered his men to pull back to the woods while he stayed forward, directing artillery fire over his field telephone. With German soldiers advancing mere yards away, Audie made a decision that would become legend. He climbed onto the burning, explosion-ready M10 tank destroyer. Why? Because it had a .50 caliber machine gun. For the next hour, completely exposed to enemy fire from 3 sides, wounded in the leg, Audie Murphy stood on that burning vehicle and unleashed a torrent of fire on the advancing Germans. He killed or wounded an estimated 50 enemy soldiers, breaking up their infantry attack and forcing them to retreat. He only stopped when he ran out of ammunition. After he climbed off the tank destroyer, it exploded. Despite his injuries, he refused medical aid and organized his men for a counterattack, successfully driving the remaining Germans from the woods. For this single act of unbelievable bravery, Audie Murphy was awarded the Medal of Honor, America's highest military decoration. By the end of the war, Audie Murphy had received every U.S. military combat award for valor available, as well as French and Belgian awards for heroism. He was credited with killing, capturing, or wounding over 240 enemy soldiers. He had done it all before he turned 21. When he returned home to Texas, he was a national hero. Parades were held in his honor, and his face was on the cover of Life magazine. It was this magazine cover that caught the eye of legendary actor James Cagney, who invited Audie to Hollywood. The transition from soldier to movie star wasn't easy. Audie arrived in Hollywood with little money and slept on the floor of a friend's gym for a time, but he applied the same determination that served him in battle to his new career. He started with small roles and eventually became a leading man. In 1949, he published his autobiography, To Hell and Back, which became a national bestseller. In 1955, the book was adapted into a movie starring Audie Murphy as himself. The film was a massive success, holding the record as Universal Studios' highest-grossing picture for 20 years until it was surpassed by Jaws. Audie went on to star in over 40 films, mostly westerns, becoming a beloved and familiar face to millions of Americans. But behind the celebrity glamour and the hero's smile, Audie Murphy was fighting a private war. He suffered from what we now call post-traumatic stress disorder, or PTSD. In his day, it was called battle fatigue or shell shock, and it was deeply misunderstood. Audie was plagued with insomnia, nightmares, and depression. He slept with a loaded pistol under his pillow. Unlike many who suffered in silence, Audie Murphy chose to speak out. In an act of incredible courage, he publicly discussed his struggles with PTSD, breaking the stigma surrounding mental health for veterans. He became one of the first and most prominent advocates for the U.S. government to give more attention and care to the mental health of returning soldiers. He understood that the wounds of war weren't always visible. Audie Murphy's life was a complex tapestry of incredible highs and deep lows. He was a hero on the battlefield, a star on the silver screen, and the pioneering voice for mental health. Tragically, his life was cut short in 1971 when he died in a plane crash in the mountains of Virginia. He was just 45 years old. He was buried with full military honors in Arlington National Cemetery, where his grave is one of the most visited sites, second only to President John F. Kennedy's. The story of Audie Murphy is more than just a tale of military exploits. It's a testament to the power of the human spirit to overcome unimaginable adversity. From a poor Texas boy to a national icon, he embodied a unique form of quiet courage. He never sought the spotlight, but his actions demanded it. He showed us that heroes can be ordinary people put in extraordinary circumstances, and that the bravest fight can sometimes be the one we wage within ourselves. His legacy endures not just in medals and movies, but in the millions of lives he touched and the conversations he started about the true cost of war. Thank you so much for watching. If you found this story as inspiring as we did, please hit that like button and subscribe to our channel for more stories about incredible figures from history. Let us know in the comments what you find most remarkable about Audie Murphy's life. We'll see you in the next video.